Thanks, Sophie. Good to have you with us on BBC London. Coming up.
You know, if you don't keep this appointment, I'm going to come and find you, and I'll take you there.
We're out with a new council drug squad as one borough targets persistent offenders of antisocial behaviour.
A majority want out of this cycle of chaotic desperation to commit crime to get drugs, you know, to commit more crime to get more drugs.
Also ahead tonight. With growing speculation ahead of next week's budget, our political editor looks at whether London could be disproportionately affected. We hear from a couple unlawfully arrested and held on suspicion of harassment after making complaints about their daughter's school, including on WhatsApp. Plus,
every flower here tells a story. I'm at the Ever After Garden in Chelsea, where each dedication raises vital funds for a charity.
And their voices soared on stage. We catch up with one of the young Londoners from the Children in Need choir. Hello and welcome to you this Monday evening. It's one of the biggest complaints from residents in one London borough. Antisocial behaviour linked to people using and dealing drugs. Now, Tower Hamlets Council has created its own drug squad at a cost of £500,000 to try to get to grips with the problem. But how does it work and will it make a difference? Our Home Affairs correspondent Sonia Jessup has been out with the team at work in Whitechapel.
You haven't had any drug users in there this morning, have you? Is it all good, yeah? All right.
7 o'clock in the morning in Whitechapel. And Council Enforcement Officer John Fish is looking for drug dealers.
So one of the constant challenges is the ingenuity of the drug dealers, and they will find safe havens out the way of CCTV, and they'll then try and encourage people that are otherwise, you know, on script and in treatment back into the world of drug taking.
A former police officer, he's now part of a new Tower Hamlets drug squad. The council believes the first of its kind. They focus not on crime hotspots, but on 50 individuals they suspect are causing the most harm, offering help into treatment, but the threat of prosecution if they refuse.
See you later. You know, if you don't keep this appointment, I'm going to come and find you, and I'll take you there. This is good news.
Today, they're at the Whitechapel Mission, which provides hundreds of breakfasts for people in need.
There are a number of people that are going to be here today that will have effectively fallen off the wagon and been found smoking drugs. We will warn them about their conduct, offer them support.
It's an approach so far that's been welcomed here.
I think it's very easy. Instead of trying to fix problems, we just get the problem out of sight. We move it on. It's only when they are refusing to take any kind of responsibility or trying to change direction that the enforcement comes in.
A majority want out of this cycle of chaotic desperation to commit crime to get drugs, you know, to commit more crime to get more drugs.
The council says with police budgets under pressure, it's spending more, boosting CCTV, with £500,000 a year for the drug squad.
Residents are telling us this is one of their main issues, drug-linked antisocial behaviour. It's a targeted piece of work. It's an area that we know may not have been getting the focus, and this is an area that's a concern for residents, so something had to be done.
It comes as the Met is redeploying its specialist antisocial behaviour officers across London. It says to strengthen neighbourhood policing instead. Critics warn knowledge and experience could be lost, a point I put to Tower Hamlets Community Safety Director, a former Met officer.
What we've seen with the police is that they're focusing, as we would expect as members of the public, on the criminals, the people who are dealing in drugs, those people that are in organised criminal networks. In terms of antisocial behaviour, I think we just need to look at how we can work differently.
So how effective will this new approach be? Local resident Sister Christine told me about problems her neighbour had reported.
She saw 5 young people taking drugs, using drugs on the grass in front of her building. She rang 101, she rang another number, the number's given us and nothing happened. A lot of money is now being spent on antisocial behaviour and the drug squads, and that's brilliant. We need that. But we need to know there is someone we can go to if nothing seems to be happening.
The council says since launching in June, 15 of their 50 individuals targeted are engaging with treatment. 9 are in prison.
I met a man the other day I've never seen sober before. He's been sober for 6 weeks, he's got family support, he's talking about getting employment in Lancashire.
It's still early days, but some say the scheme's already made a huge difference to them.
This new team, what they got, they're really helpful. Like, they even helped me while I was in prison.
Do you know what? You've made my day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So,
well done, you.
I'm happy that I got myself a flat.
Yeah.
Not just a...
Sonia Jessup with that report. Now to the countdown to the budget. In just over a week's time, the Chancellor Rachel Reeves will unveil her plans for government spending and taxes. London accounts for around a quarter of the UK's economy, so any impact here could be felt right across the country. There are concerns that the capital could be disproportionately affected by any planned wealth or property taxes, any council finance reforms, as well as big transport projects not getting the go-ahead, which City Hall says are crucial to unlock the thousands of new homes needed. Here's our political editor, Carl Mercer.
So on a dreary day with the forecast not looking great, what does London need and want from the Chancellor? One of the big asks for City Hall is for extra money for the DLR. What they want to do is extend it from here at Galleon's Reach, going through Beckton, and then importantly over the river to Thamesmead. A move they say would unlock tens of thousands of new homes.
In Thamesmead, we know that for that really to be a viable project, we need the DLR extended down to Thamesmead so that we can really get both those houses, those job opportunities, but also connection to the wider city.
One of the key messages coming out of London before the budget, whether that's from City Hall, local councils or from businesses, seems to be do no harm. They say, look, London generates something like £50 billion worth of taxes, more than it gets back. And it contributes about a quarter to the UK's GDP. So hurt London, they say, and you hurt the rest of the country.
This government's very focused on getting the economy going, getting growth going, but London is the motor of the UK economy, whether we like that or not. But you can't take that for granted. For it to continue to grow, it needs investment in infrastructure, in housing, in skills and in businesses. I think the risk is that the government looks like it could be squeezing more out of London without putting more in the other end to keep the economy going.
There's another thing that London's leaders are eyeing up. What they say, if we were to charge all these people who come to London something called an overnight visitor levy, that's a tourist tax to you and me. It would raise, they say, something between £1 and £500 million every year. But they'd need the government to change the law to allow them to do it.
The government is in a difficult fiscal position. This is true. Taxes are high, public services are stretched. We have a cost of living crisis. And how you navigate that is a very difficult set of political choices for the Chancellor. Our fundamental argument is that we must do nothing that hampers future growth.
One of the other groups looking for help from the Chancellor will be London's councils. It's estimated London's 32 boroughs face a shortfall of something like £1 billion this year. That, it's said, could rise to something like £4.7 billion in the coming years. Plenty then across the capital have spent the last weeks and months lobbying to make sure their message is getting through to the Chancellor. Rachel Reeves will know what London wants. What it gets could be a different matter.
It certainly could, and Carl is here, and there are a few other things that London might get that it might not want.
Yeah, not directly targeted at London, but I think you broadly call them wealth taxes. So probably the main one that will affect London is freezing the income tax bands, which is likely to happen, which will mean something like 140,000 Londoners will move into the higher tax bracket once they start earning over £50,000. And then there are property taxes as well, potentially a mansion tax on properties over £2 million and possibly changing capital gains tax for properties over £1.5 million if you sell them. So taxes that are aimed at the rest of the country, but because London, as we said in that report, carries so much of the country's wealth, will have a disproportionate effect here.
Yeah, I know you'll keep an eye on it for us. And as we speak, MPs are responding to the government's new asylum plans in the Commons. Another tricky issue to negotiate before the budget.
That's why I've got two notebooks, Riz, one for each of the tricky problems that the government is facing. And it's been tricky. There's been much trailed, hasn't it, the changes to the asylum system, with the government planning to bring in things like a 30-month check on refugees here, saying if your country is now safe, we will ask you to go home, changing from 5 years to 20 years, the amount of time before you can get indefinite leave to remain, and then restrictions on the number of times you can appeal against being removed from the country, and restrictions possibly on benefits and on accommodation benefits as well. So quite a severe package, and already criticism from London MPs today, quite a few of them calling them cruel. What we haven't heard from yet, though, is the Mayor, because he's taken a very strong stance in favour of asylum, in favour of migration, which he says is critical to the capital. It'll be interesting to see where that goes in the next coming days.
And as we saw there, that debate and reaction continuing in the Commons as we speak. Carl, thanks very much indeed. You're watching BBC London. Plenty more ahead this evening, including Bridget Jones's messy stumbles through London have been loved by millions. Now she'll stand still as a statue on Leicester Square. But in true Bridget style, the unveiling didn't quite go to plan. Hertfordshire police have paid out £20,000 in damages after unlawfully arresting a couple and detaining them for 11 hours on suspicion of harassment and malicious communications. It's after they made complaints about their daughter's primary school, including on a WhatsApp group chat. Lauren Moss has the story.
This is the moment Hertfordshire police came to arrest Rosalind Levine and Maxie Allen for harassment over a dispute with their daughter's primary school. 6 officers in 2 cars and a van turned up at their home in Boreham Wood in January and arrested the couple in front of their young child. They held them for 11 hours, questioning them about complaints they'd made to the school and on WhatsApp to other parents.
I remember hearing the doorbell go, opening the door and just seeing what looked like a swarm of officers around the house, which gave me a bit of a shock when they read out the list of things that I was being arrested for: malicious communications, harassment, causing a nuisance on the school premises. I knew that I hadn't done any of those things.
Rosalind and her husband Maxie, a Liberal Democrat councillor and journalist who used to work at the BBC, say they'd recently been banned from Cowley Hill Primary School, where Maxie was previously a governor, after criticising the leadership and emailing regularly about the needs of their daughter, who has epilepsy. Cowley Hill Primary School say they'd sought advice from the police over a high volume of what they've described as upsetting and derogatory correspondence from 2 parents. At the time, Hertfordshire police called the arrests necessary, but in a statement now say whilst there are no issues of misconduct, they've accepted liability on the basis that the legal test around necessity of arrest was not met, and Mr Allen and Miss Levine were wrongfully arrested.
I think overall we were just really pleased that Hertfordshire Constabulary have recognised that this shouldn't have happened and recognised that they made quite a serious mistake. I mean, obviously they've paid damages and they've paid costs, but for us the main thing really was the liability, that the arrest was unlawful. That's what mattered most to us, because that for us is the recognition that this is something which shouldn't have happened.
Maxie Allen and Rosalind Levine say they received £20,000 in damages. The line where authorities should intervene in public disputes continues to be a difficult one to tread. Lauren Moss, BBC London.
Let me bring you a roundup of some of the other news in and around the capital. A man's been injured after the van he was driving exploded when it hit the ceiling of an underground car park in Wimbledon. It happened earlier today at a shopping centre on Queen's Road, which was then evacuated. The man in his 60s was treated for burns and taken to hospital. Knife amnesty bins are being installed at police stations in Hatfield and Stevenage as part of a week of action to help tackle knife crime in Hertfordshire. Officers will also visit schools to educate young people about the dangers of carrying weapons. Retailers are being reminded that it is illegal to sell knives to anyone under the age of 18. Southend and Stansted airports will soon be able to accept contactless payments for rail travel to and from the terminals. It's part of an £18 million modernisation programme which aims to simplify fares and ticketing. Both Essex airports, Luton, Aylesbury and Dorking are among the 50 railway stations which will have the new facility from mid-December. And you can find more stories and updates where you live on your local BBC News website and via the BBC News app. Now to how so many of you have kindly reached into your pockets and given so generously to children in need to help make a difference to young lives. The total raised is already in the tens of millions. Let's look at some highlights from those involved in charities right here in the capital with Wendy Hurrell.
In recent weeks, we've been highlighting the amazing work being done to improve children's lives across London by charities we might not get to hear about otherwise. From family nursery rhymes in Barking to confidence-building singing sessions in Wood Green. And in Newham, workshops getting girls into coding. Small charities, often run by volunteers, worth celebrating. Our BBC Radio London presenters joined others on the 1,000 Mile Challenge, which helped raise more than £280,000. Jude was part of the One Show's challenge squad, joining Sarah Cox on her 5 marathons in 5 days. He walked further than he'd ever managed. Sarah raised £9.5 million. Members of performing arts group Haringey Shed joined Lord Sugar.
Do your children have to call you Lord, or do they have to just call you Dad?
In an apprentice takeover on the Friday night fundraising show.
I stand across.
And then there was the choir, including Eleanor from Hampton, whose voice soared on stage in Salford. By the end of the show, more than £45 million had been raised, helping to keep all those little charities going.
Wow, and I think that total is more than 50 million now. I'm pleased to say that 14-year-old Eleanor, who we just saw there in the choir, and her mum Kelly join us here. Fabulous to see you both. Smiles, I'm not surprised. Eleanor, I know that you love singing. We've been following your story. You've been waiting for that moment for a while. How did it feel?
It was very, very surreal. So many rehearsals before, I didn't think it would be that exciting and amazing and thrilling.
and did you feel nervous at all?
I don't really think I had time to be nervous, to be honest. It was all so fast. We just kind of did a practice in the corridor before and then went on stage, and it was over before we knew it. And I don't think, like I said, don't think I had time.
Well, your mum Kelly is smiling. Were you nervous for Eleanor?
Yes. Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely all the parents were more nervous than the children.
Yeah. And what was it like, just seeing Eleanor up there?
It's just a dream come true, isn't it? It's what she loves to do. So to see her so happy doing something that she loves, how can you not love that?
Now, I know that children in need has been a part of your life, both of you. And Kelly, Eleanor was diagnosed with a brain tumour as a child and is visually impaired. This must have been an emotional night for you and your husband.
Yeah. To see it all come together and the work that they do to make those small charities possible and to change lives for children like Eleanor, it's just so great to be able to be a part of it, definitely.
Eleanor, how do you feel when you're singing?
I mean, like I said, it was over so quickly, but it was just so amazing, and I'd made such a bond with the other children in the choir already because we had time to sort of chat and socialise. So it was just really, really lovely to stand up there and sing with them as well.
Now, you were singing Yellow. If Chris Martin from Coldplay is watching, or this gets to him, which I hope it does, can you tell him what singing the song Yellow for the Children in Need choir means to you now?
I mean, it's Pudsy's favourite colour, of course. So that was an amazing bonus. And it's just a really, really lovely song as well. It means so much to a lot of the children in that choir and me, and it was just really lovely.
And Mum Kelly, what do you want to say to Eleanor?
Oh, I'm just so proud of you for doing it and just making the most of that incredible opportunity.
Oh, well, listen, we have enjoyed and, you know, in awe at the journey that you've had. It's been such a wonderful thing to follow. Thank you both for being with us here today, and congratulations again, Eleanor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, incredible efforts by so many. Eleanor, just one of them, to make a difference to young lives. Now, you don't have to look very far to see that we are now heading into the festive period, and what is a joyous time for many. But there will also be people remembering loved ones. And in one corner of the capital, a tranquil haven of 30,000 illuminated white roses has been created to do just that. Victoria Hollins has been to Chelsea to find out.
Just a few steps from the busy King's Road, each rose here tells the story of a lost loved one.
We've moved from Mayfair over to Chelsea, and it's got much bigger, much more visibility.
Camilla Morton helped establish this garden after the loss of her friend, production designer Michael Howells. Here, the Ever After garden is a haven from Christmas shopping chaos.
With the festive season, everybody's so busy, everybody's so frantic, and it all becomes very consumer-led and driven about what you're going to buy, where you're going to be, what you're going to do. But there are actually people missing, and I think what we hope to do at the Ever After garden is create a moment where you can pause, remember who's not here.
But it's once the sun is down that the garden blooms best. Now, in its 7th year, it brings people back every year to leave dedications.
There's a lady that has come every year, Ali, for her daughter Poppy, and each year she moves a rose down, and so we can count how many years that she's been coming and how many years she's not had her daughter. Although Poppy isn't with her, you can try and help somebody else hold on to their loved one a little longer.
Amongst them Diane, paying tribute to her husband, who she lost to prostate cancer 4 years ago.
The fact that it's lit up, and he smiled everywhere he went, and everybody always talks about he'd always got a smile, so the fact that there's a rose that's lit for him is a smile for me.
40% of the dedications here come from people abroad, evidence of the wide reach of the Royal Marsden to which the donations go.
Globally, it has so much work and it does so much research to support and help and cure and sort of bring clarity and hope to those suffering from cancer.
The garden's open to visit until December the 16th. For every rose, a dedication, a name, a memory. Victoria Hollins, BBC London.
Now, as you may have seen, Renée Zellweger was in Leicester Square today to help unveil a statue of her famous rom-com character, Bridget Jones. Of course, so many of us have followed the trials and tribulations of her life, and most of it, or some of it, filmed here in London. She played film heroine for more than 20 years, and it's all part of a move to celebrate a century of British cinema, as Noor Nanji reports.
3, 2, 1.
A very Bridget Jones style unveiling. Over the decades, the hapless heroine, played by Renée Zellweger, has become famous for her disasters. Now she has a statue all of her own.
Do you see a resemblance?
You know what, I think she's much cuter than me.
What do you think explains the appeal of Bridget Jones?
Well, her relatability, you know, her vulnerability, her humanness, you know, she's just sort of, I don't know, we recognize ourselves in her, we recognize ourselves in her struggles.
I decided to take control of my life and start a diary to tell the truth about Bridget Jones.
The first Bridget Jones film came out in 2001, based on the book by the author Helen Fielding.
Greatly increased by wearing these.
From her granny pants...
Go!
Oh no, we're going to fly past Newcastle first.
To her embarrassing work mishaps...
Turn back up! On you in 30 seconds!
Okay. She embraced the mess, and fans loved her for it.
With the latest film, a whole new set of younger fans have discovered the charms of Bridget Jones. The fourth film is being billed as the final one, but some are hoping this is not the end.
The last film was really sad. It was heart-wrenching almost, but I feel like I'd like to see her when she's like older and almost like a mad bat, you know what I mean? Like a mad old woman. I'd love to see it.
Bridget Jones, immortalised not just on screen, but now in sculpture.
It makes you smile, doesn't it? Noor Nanji reporting there. OK, let's return to Chelsea now, and this time to Kate for the weather. It's been a chilly but sunny day, Kate.
Yes, it has. We really have had quite a big temperature drop over the last few days, but it's kind of standing right here. It is very tranquil. Behind me, those lights twinkling. There's a bit of a frosty feel out there. Now, last week, a week ago, we were at around 17 or 18 Celsius here in London. Today, we reached 8.6 Celsius at St James's Park, so a significant drop. We really are feeling it. This morning, we had clear skies, though you can see from the map, barely any cloud to speak of across London. But as we head into the evening, again, we've got clear skies at the moment. There will be a little bit of cloud overnight, but with those clearer spells, the temperature is going to be colder than last night. Another big drop. We were mid-single figures. Tonight, we're looking at 0, if not below, away from towns and cities. So if you are away from a town or a city, you might just get a sparkle of frost first thing tomorrow morning. So a chilly start as we head into Tuesday. There is a little bit more cloud around, though, as we head through Tuesday. If you're up early enough, you might just get a clear start in the east, but the cloud is going to move in. A front brings the cloud. We might get 1 or 2 spots of light rain within that cloud first thing tomorrow morning, but then that will clear middle part of the day, something a little brighter. Then we've got another front moving through, bringing more cloud. Again, it's thick enough for the odd spot of rain tomorrow, but it should be largely dry. The temperature, again, only around 7 or 8 Celsius, so very similar to today, another cold one. Now, as we head into Tuesday evening, there is going to be more cloud around overnight, so it's not going to drop quite so low. Within the cloud on Tuesday night, we could get 1 or 2 spots of light rain and drizzle in there as well. And that's going to continue through the night and make its way to Wednesday morning. But like I said, with that cloud overnight on Tuesday, the temperature not dropping much below 3 or 4 Celsius. So a slightly less cold night. Now, as we head into Wednesday, we're going to start the day with that cloud. We'll still see some outbreaks of rain, but that will slowly start to clear. The wind chill, though, for Wednesday, it is going to be cold. So it may look like 6 degrees, but actually it's going to feel more like 3 or 4. So a really chilly day. They do make a little bit of a recovery, though, the temperature, as we head towards the weekend, where we start to see a little more rain. Riz.
Thanks very much, Kate. More on what London might want from the budget on our website. Also there, the moment the Londoner affectionately known as Bus Auntie won Video of the Year at UK's TikTok Awards. Bye for now.